Good morning. Welcome to another day on the Appalachian Trail. Today is day number 85, Friday, July 26th. And we're packed up and ready to go. This was our campsite last night, right here, right next to this creek called Roush Creek. I'm gonna get my pack on and we're gonna get started with the day. And Riley gets up right as soon as I pick my pack up. And so you can probably hear the creek, the flowing creek. We were able to listen to that all night. Mostly as we were in the tent before we fell asleep. Once we fell asleep, we were completely not aware that the creek was flowing. So I did happen to look at my phone this morning because I charged it last night, and when it charges, it turns on. And then when I picked it up this morning, I realized that it was on, and it was 9:48, I think, when I looked at it. And that was when I was still in my tent getting my things ready. So I'm guessing it's about 10:30 right now, maybe a little bit after. So at least it's not later than our previous day's starts. It's kind of right on par with it. Maybe a tad earlier, but it's pretty close. Hold up, buddy. Oh, good boy. Hold it. Hey, come here, Riley. Riley, come here, buddy. Hold up, buddy. But we got a good night's rest. I definitely feel pleased with the sleep. Feel like I'm ready to go. My GoPro's not in there because it's on my head right now. All right, buddy. Pick these guys up. Hold up, buddy. Hold up. So much stuff in there. Oh my gosh. And now we gotta find our way out of this campsite. We came into the main campsite last night. Riley, hold up, buddy. And that, like I said, there were three tents already set up there. And we had to find our way to water. And then once we got water, I just kind of started looking for... Riley's gonna poop here. You're gonna poop, you're gonna pee first. And then once we got water, I just kind of started looking for some flat spots to set up our tent. That was, Riley, this way. That was away from the other tents. So I just kind of started walking in some direction where I thought there might be some tent sites, and we got kind of far away from the trail. So now I'm just retracing my steps. The other tenters have packed up long ago. I did wake up relatively early this morning and took Riley outside of the tent so he could use the bathroom. And then I could see that the sun had risen, but it was still low in the sky at that point. And then we got back in our tent and went back to sleep and got another at least hour or so of sleep. Riley. Okay, Riley. Okay, Riley. Good morning to you, Riley. Good morning to you. I think the trail is right there. I think that's the trail. Riley, how do you have so much energy, dude? Oh my goodness. Now you're all tangled up. Oh my goodness. Hold up, buddy. Riley. I'm pretty sure this is the trail. Yes, there is a white blaze right there. Okay, so we are on the trail this morning. Riley's getting his sniffs in, and we are continuing on. So we will check in later. Mr. Riley. All right, Van Gogh and Riley checking in. I feel like I'm not doing much filming because I've been so occupied with carrying my pack in my shoulders and carrying my other food bag in my arms, as well as my trekking poles. But I decided now to take my camera out and do a little filming. We happen to be crossing a bridge now, and I believe we're entering something called Swatara State Park. Lots of traffic noise. There's roads like everywhere. There's roads in front of us. There's roads to both sides of us. So lots and lots of cars. I'm definitely feeling better today compared to yesterday. I definitely feel more rested, more alert. I don't feel the symptoms of like sickness that I was feeling yesterday, in terms of like my body temperature rising more than it should. It wasn't serious yesterday. It was just a little bit where my body temperature felt like it was a little too hot. All right, so AT continues to the right here. Very good. And I spy a trash can there. So I might as well take the opportunity to throw my trash out. But yeah, yesterday I was, most days on this hike, I felt like Riley has been the one. It's not a bad thing, but I feel like Riley has been kind of slowing me down. Like I would be able to go faster or farther if I was traveling alone without Riley. Not that I want to do that. I'm not saying I want to do that. I'm just pointing out an observation. But yesterday, I felt like I was the one slowing Riley down. I felt like Riley was not really in need of many breaks, but I was the one in need of breaks, and I was just using the breaks to lie down and just rest my body and take naps. So this is my trash bag. So, all right, I'm just gonna, yeah, I might as well just What a wonderful hiking vlog today. Let's watch Van Gogh throw away his trash. All right, so apparently there's another trail here called the Bear Hole Trail. Anyway, so what I was saying was that, yeah, yesterday I was using my breaks to catch up on sleep, and I did that multiple times yesterday. But today, we have taken some breaks, but I haven't felt the need to, like, just take a nap during the breaks. Also, Riley got stung by a bee earlier. He did not like it. So we took a break after he got stung by a bee, and I rubbed it was on one of his hind legs, the side area, I think. So I gave him a little leg massage for a little bit, and he seems perfectly fine now. Riley is quite amazing. I think all dogs have this trait. They just heal so much faster. Whenever something happens that they don't like, it might bother a human for like a whole day or multiple days, but as long as it's not too serious, like Riley just gets over it in like 10 minutes, 5 minutes. All right, so there's lots of people here. I'm gonna put my camera away and we'll check in later. So Riley and I are getting close to the top of the current climb. The traffic noise is receding into the background. Pennsylvania has been not too mountainous. There's been a few climbs, like this is one of them, and definitely coming out of Duncannon was a big climb. But it's also had big stretches where it's not very steep, I guess. And according to the elevation profile in my AWOL guide, once we get through this climb, the trail looks mostly level all the way to just before Port Clinton, which is like still about 60 miles, maybe 55 miles north of here. And we're close to the top, it seems like. So that's something to be aware of, certainly. I was gonna say excited, but not necessarily something to be excited about. My words are trailing off here. Yeah, I mean, climbs are just part of the hike, and there's going to be many more climbs that we'll need to do on the rest of the trail. We just hike what we gotta hike what's in front of us. And of course, there's times where you get really tired of dealing with the climbs, and then once you're through with a stretch, that feels really good. But we've had such a break from consistent climbs in the recent part of the trail that I can't say I'm too annoyed by the last climb that we just did. Just a reminder of the fact that we are on the, well, I didn't forget we were on the AT, but just a reminder of the fact that we gotta do these climbs from time to time, and just be thankful, I guess, that we haven't had to deal with too many of them recently. So I said Riley got stung by a bee earlier, and we took a break shortly after that. And while we were taking a break, there was a girl that hiked up to us. She was behind us and she caught up to us. And when she got close, she said, "I just got stung by a bee." And I said, "My dog just got stung by a bee." And she literally just got stung by a bee. Like, it was probably like less than a minute before she got to us that she got stung. And so she was being polite, and she said, "I'm just gonna keep moving," because she was in no mood to talk. And there's a hostel. By the way, that bridge we passed earlier, the bridge that we were on, apparently that's a historic bridge. In my AT guide, it says calls it the historic Waterville Bridge, I think. And that area that we were in, I think it's known as Swatara Gap. And there's a hostel there called Stay at Swatara. And the "at" is like a play on AT for Appalachian Trail. And I think the girl that got stung by the bee, I think she stopped into the hostel. And then Riley and I took another break after getting a little bit past Swatara Gap and crossing under some highway. I think Interstate 81 we crossed under. And then the same girl caught up to us again while we were taking another break. So she must have stopped into that hostel. And she asked if Riley was feeling better. And I said he was. And she seemed to be feeling better also. So that's good. And I was fortunate enough to not get stung by a bee. Riley, hold up, buddy, hold up. Anyway, so yeah, that girl is ahead of us now. And shortly after she passed, or actually shortly after she caught up to us that second time, Riley and I were just about to get ready to go. So once she passed, I gave her some time to get in front of us. And then Riley and I started to continue. So Riley has plenty of motivation to walk now, because he knows that other hiker is in front of us. Somewhere in front of us. Far enough that we can't see her. But Riley definitely remembers. So I don't know how we're doing in terms of getting to this 501 shelter that I mentioned last night. It would still be nice to get there tonight, but Riley and I have taken several breaks, so I'm not sure if it's going to be possible, because I don't know what time it is. I could look at the time. I've had multiple opportunities, but I have chosen not to look at the time and just focus on, if we need to take a break, we'll take a break, and if we're good to hike, then let's just hike, and we'll see where we get. So, Mr. Riley. Mr. Riley is doing fine. Riley, wait up. All right, Riley, hold up, buddy. Riley. Okay, so Riley and I took a long break. We're just taking so many breaks. And we are approaching this shelter called William Penn Shelter. We're not really that close to it. We're still at least 3 miles away, I'm thinking. And it has suddenly gotten really, really, really rocky. Riley, you're going too fast, man. Riley, wait, stay behind me. So where does the trail go? There's a blaze right there. There's another blaze right there. Okay. Yes, this is quite rocky here. Just a whole bunch of rocks. Like, there's no way to make out where the trail is Except for Riley, we're going this way, man. Except for picking your head up and looking to find where all the blazes are. Maybe this is why Pennsylvania is called Rocksylvania. But it's not like this throughout the whole state. Like, I don't know how long this is going to keep up for. Riley, you keep trying to get ahead of me. Now, sometimes when we have a down tree like this, I go over and Riley goes under, but he's going over this time. Good. More rocks. So it seems increasingly likely that we are not going to get to 501 shelter tonight. Daylight is already, the sun is already getting kind of low in the sky, and once we get to William Penn Shelter, assuming we get there tonight, the 501 shelter is another 4.1 miles after that shelter. And I don't mind doing some night hiking to get there, but it just doesn't, at this point it just seems not very likely that we'll get there, but that's fine. So I'm not really sure what to talk about. I'm not contemplating quitting the hike, but I feel like my motivation for hiking is not very high right now. That's a nice campsite there. Riley's tugging at my back, saying, "Let's go to the campsite." So like, I have a lot of good food on me, and so when I take these breaks, it's hard to like get going again, because I'm enjoying eating my food. I've been nibbling on this apple cinnamon oatmeal Cheerios cereal, and either eating it straight or mixing it in with water. Earlier I mixed it in with some rice and some mayonnaise and some ketchup, which sounds like a terrible combination, but to explain it, I had hydrated the rice initially, and then I added some mayonnaise and ketchup to give it some flavor, and then the mayonnaise and ketchup flavored it a little bit, but it didn't give it a lot of flavor. So then I was like, this might be good to add some cereal to it. So I just started adding some cereal to it. Aha, abandoned power line. Stop tugging on me, Riley. This was in my guidebook. I've been looking for this. So between that basically shortly after Swatara Gap. Riley, can you let me get in front, please? Oh my goodness, you just keep making it difficult on me, Riley. Riley, stop! Yeah, so between Swatara Gap and William Penn Shelter, there's only one additional entry in the guidebook for something to latch onto as a point of reference, and that point of reference is that abandoned power line back there. I didn't see any abandoned power line. Maybe it's not there because it's abandoned. I don't know. But anyway, so according to the guidebook, we have, oh my goodness, Riley. Riley, stay behind me, man. So according to that guidebook, we should have 2.7 more miles from that abandoned power line, whatever that was, to William Penn Shelter. So we should at least be able to get there tonight, but I have a feeling it's going to be dark by the time we get there. All right, so hello again, good evening, good night. Van Gogh and Riley here checking in. So we made it to William Penn Shelter a little while back, and I have decided to continue on and do some night hiking. If possible, we might hike all the way to 501 Shelter. There are a couple campsites between here and 501 Shelter if we don't want to go all the way there. I would like to go all the way to the 501 Shelter. It's 4.1 miles additional beyond the shelter we just left. But that's not the most important thing. So I was able to fill up on water. At the last shelter, there was a side trail on the opposite side of the AT from the shelter, and there was a piped spring that was just barely flowing with water. Just had the tiniest little flow to it, but it was able to get my bottles under there and just patiently wait until all 4 liters were filled. Riley is walking in front of me here, even though the leash is wrapped around me. So whenever he tries to go forward, it kind of pulls on my backside. So I had a scary moment back at the shelter. So when we got to we didn't actually get to the shelter. The shelter is a 1/10 of a mile off the AT by a side trail. Riley, can you please let me go first? Okay, thank you. So we just basically got to the point where the side trail starts, and I took my pack off. I strapped Riley to my pack like I usually do, and I decided to get my headlamp out. This is before I got water. I was planning to just get my headlamp out because I wanted to take my headlamp with me when I walked down to get water. And my headlamp is stored in my electronics bag, which is inside of my pack. So I had to open up my pack, take a few things out, put them on the ground to get my electronics bag. And as I was doing this, Riley was watching stuff, as he always does. But he saw something that he wanted to go after, and he bolted after something that he saw. And I had already strapped him up to my pack, but he bolted so hard that he tore my hip belt right off of my pack, and he bolted and he got free. But Riley is still with me right now, so this is a story that ends well, for now at least. So whatever he saw It was in the direction of the shelter. But whatever he saw, he thought that it went up a tree. Like basically right next to where the sign was that indicated that there was a shelter. He could have seen something that just ran off somewhere, in which case he would have just chased it. But whatever he was interested in, he thought it ran up a tree that was just like a few feet away from me. So he bolted, got away, but because he thought whatever he was, and maybe what he was interested in did run up the tree, but because of that, he stopped at the tree and just started looking up, and that gave me the chance to get to him and get a hold of him, because he was just stopped looking up at the tree. And then I was able to bring him back and secure him to an actual tree rather than to my pack. Yeah, so he literally he bolted so hard that he tore my hip belt right off of my pack. So what does that mean now for my hike going forward? So my hip belt is no longer attached to my pack, but my hip belt, apparently it's still functional. Like I can still strap to my waist, and I can still strap Riley's leash to my hip belt, and I can still tighten it so that it's secure around my waist. Oh my goodness, Riley, oh my goodness. Riley. It's just very annoying when he's hovering. Riley, stay behind me, dude. Anyway. So it doesn't seem to be that big of a deal. The most important thing is that Riley did not get away. I mean, he got away, but I got him back. And he's secure now. That's the most important thing. So I'm very relieved about that. Extremely relieved about that. What is this? This is like some type of metal wire, metal cable attached to this tree here for whatever reason. Come on, Ray. And as far as my pack functionality, I'm still able to wear my pack like I usually do, and I just need to put my hip belt on separately now, but I can still use my hip belt to strap Riley's leash into. Now, when I stop for brakes going forward and I need to secure Riley, it's not going to work to strap him to my hip belt anymore. First of all, this was like the first. He rarely does this. He rarely bolts while like I'm taking a break and I've secured him to my pack. He just saw something that caused him to bolt, but this is unusual for him. But going forward, I think I'm just going to need to strap him to my my shoulder straps, and I'm going to probably loop his leash through both shoulder straps. I mean, I guess better would be to just secure him to a tree, but if a tree is not available, then I'll need, I think, the shoulder straps should be sufficient. So, all right, so that's an update. It says, here I listened to the sounds of a submarine. Commissioner 24. Okay, Riley, let's continue on, buddy. let's continue on, Riley. Good boy. Alright, so Van here. Riley and I made it to the 501 shelter, and we are currently outside the shelter. Just want to close out the day briefly. I'll do a more thorough update tomorrow, but in total we hiked 16.8 miles, and we're at mile 1196.7, I believe. The quote that I read off earlier before my GoPro battery died, I'll just talk about it tomorrow. I don't want to take too long to describe it here. And yeah, so I'll just give a more thorough update tomorrow when I have more time. It is like 1:37 a.m. right now. I was able to feed Riley. I was able to find the charging station, the charging outlets at the caretaker's house. None of that, well, feeding Riley was easy, but finding everything was not easy. But I feel like I've finally settled in here, and Riley and I are gonna head inside and get to sleep soon. So good night. Hope everyone's doing well, and we will check in tomorrow. Bye for now.